What I want to do is I've got quite a bit of questions this week regarding police and marketing to police and why police. And, the reality is that it's not police who we're after as much as we are after well-qualified prospects. That's really what police departments represent, like most government employees. I actually have a training session that I do on just that. It's titled How to Market to Government Employees, and it goes through exactly why you want to go after them. And then there are, of course, subsections of that break off into specific branches, such as police, fire. We do campaigns for just teachers, so on and so on and so on. This is a presentation I use on the financial services side of the house with this, which is FFS, but it's the exact same thing. When I never miss an opportunity to cross market whatever it is that I am offering to anybody. And if they trust you enough to roll over 100, 2, 3, 4, $500,000, they'll trust you, of course, with their mortgage as well. And I can't tell you how good it's been for all of us, especially myself, marketing to police, especially as it relates to real estate, and then of course mortgages, and then their family and coworkers, and so on and so on and so on. So this is something that has worked for me for a very long time. And so I'm just going to share this with you because, as a matter of fact, we are holding a private event the 10th of February, just for one specific police department. And I'll cover that here in just 1 second. So again, just bear with me, please. And you should be able to see. Do you see the PowerPoint, guys? Just thumbs up if you see the PowerPoint that says police something, how to market to police. Right, do you see it? Okay, just want to make sure. So, okay, cool. Thank you. So let's just go ahead and get this going, and then we'll hand it over to Rhett, and we'll take it for that. We always talk about you have the right to become wealthy when it comes to law enforcement personnel, and wealth comes from different factors. And the number one reason people don't max out their retirement accounts is because of bills. They just don't have the cash flow. So when you're talking about refinancing people's homes, I wouldn't say we do a lot of purchases as much as we do refinances with police. But if you are a realtor and they do buy, or somebody in their family buys, well, you pick up the business. But where it's at is really with the amount of refinances that come out of police departments. And I know Rhett has told us time and time again how many people out there have interest rates above 3 or 4, whatever he talks about. I mean, it's just an incredible, and it still shocks me to go in there, talk to a roll call or talk to a group of officers, and come to find out how many people actually have interest rates that are, well, basically high or could be lowered. And so you're not going to find a lot of resistance when you approach it from that perspective, where what if I just lowered your payment $200-300 a month? What can you do with that $200-300 a month? Instead of giving it to the bank, you can invest it in your child's college fund. You can pay down credit card debt. You can do a ton of things, especially your retirement account, by just simply taking money you currently give to the bank and redirect that same money to yourself and your loved ones. It's a very simple story to tell. The challenge, of course, is how do I get into the police department? So how do I speak the police jargon, and so on and so on. So I just wanted to give you some ideas right now that some are working again in this kind of closer to the end of COVID. Some are not working at all. Now, sure, which ones are and which ones are not, but it's concepts that are what I refer to as an evergreen campaign. It's always in style, if you would, as it relates to that. So I'm just going to go ahead and knock it out real quick. The key to marketing to police is to build trust first. Building trust takes time. The best way to build trust is to lead by giving. I'm sure you've heard me say this before, and I cannot tell you how many people try it once or twice and quit because they, quote, got nothing out of it. And they should get out, because this is not about you just simply giving. This is not about you just taking without giving. You want to make sure that you're always, giving. And that's why this is so important as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this real quick so you can kind of get a better sense of what it is that I'm talking about when it comes to lead by giving. The beauty about police departments is that they are always there. There's always somebody there. They're open 24 hours a day. Now, you might not be in a position to go inside the lobby right now. Some places we are going in lobbies. Some places we are not. But the point is that it doesn't matter where you live in this country, there's a police department pretty close to you. I can guarantee you that. And if you build enough trust, you will be the go-to guy or the go-to gal for that particular police station. Maybe not the whole police department, depending on the size of it, but it's an evergreen campaign that continues to bear fruit year-round. A lot of things. I'm not going to get too much into this because this is a campaign that I spent many, many hours training on, which is the Baker to Vegas race. Baker to Vegas is a race that takes place every single year. Now, the last year's and this year's have been canceled due to COVID. Doesn't matter. They're still raising funds so they can get ahead of the curve when it comes to that. So a great way for you to market yourself is by offering to raise funds for their Baker to Vegas team. Very simple. 99% of the time they'll ask you, well, why would you, or they're asking themselves, why would you want to do that? And the answer is always going to be the same. You are looking to simply give back, and that you believe that police departments are vital to the community, and it's your way of just simply helping out. And that always allows you the opportunity to transition, if you would. And by transitioning, I'm saying that at some point you are going to let them know that the way and the reason you're able to help and donate is because of your mortgage business. And they respect that. They respect that 100%. I showed you, I don't want to take too long, but I'd show you a text I just got. We did a fundraising for a police station, and I just got a text from the team captain saying, hey, Javier, I really appreciate all that you've done for us, and just wanted to let you know if you need anything from us, you want to swing by, say hi to the troops, feel free to do so anytime. And that's pretty cool, because again, those are things that you don't have to market to immediately. When things get slow, times are a little slow, then yeah, reach out and say, hey, look, listen, I was wondering if I could swing by and take literally 1 minute of roll call time just to introduce myself for those that maybe don't know me, and just remind them that I'm here in case they need any of my services. Very simple. Very, very, and we're going to do a pop quiz right now, as a matter of fact, because you hear me say this all the time, that the nice thing about when you go to roll calls is that the reason they allow us to do it is because we don't ask for a whole lot. That's the beauty behind it, that when we go to these things, we're not firing up our PowerPoint, we're not firing up the projector, we're not doing anything. We're just literally bringing food, or don't bring donuts, we're just bringing food or something, and 30 seconds, your 30-second commercial. And in those 30 seconds, you can make tens of thousands of dollars if you do it the right way. And if you're not prepared for that, well, then don't even try it. It's just that simple, because it's going to be a waste of time for you. And then, yeah, you should stop and quit if you're not prepared. And so we're going to go ahead and do that in just 1 second as well. Most police departments have something like this, either an Explorers program. Now, LAPD has an Explorers program. And thankfully, LAPD is the second largest police department in the nation. So if you're anywhere here, I live in Ontario and I drive into LA because it's that profitable for me. The same goes to anybody. So no matter where you're at, if there's a police department, big or small, this applies literally to you. And so if you go in there, always ask for who's in charge of the Explorer program here, and then just let them know that you would like to raise funds. And at some point, they're going to ask, what's in it for you? Or, well, why? Well, because I believe that police departments are a vital part of our community, and I want to do my part to make sure that there's enough funds to do what needs to be done. Now, how I pay for it, I am a mortgage loan originator. And so, if there's an opportunity for me to help any of the officers here or not, I don't care. I just want to help out. And it's amazing how they'll go out of their way. And then at that point, you will be known as the mortgage person that just simply wants to help out. And it's very, very important to do that. Also, there's a lot of what's called the DAPs. The DAPs program are basically for the young kids. And I mean, like young kids. And LAPD has that as well. The Sheriff's Department has a version of it as well. They have a version of their Explorer program. This is something that's literally universal. So offer to raise funds for them. And it's amazing, like I said, how quickly you're going to grow your sphere of influence in specialized markets. We are not doing a lot of, we're not doing any barbecues right now for obvious reasons, COVID, but they're coming back around real soon. And so especially as it opens up more, and now keep in mind, you might be in a place that's wide open. I was in Utah, and police departments are operating, the lobbies are open, they're up and running there. You've got other states that they are up and running all the way. So I'm talking about not just California, but I can speak for Southern California, which is where I'm at. There's always a need for funds for something related to police departments. It might be the police department itself, the station itself, which I'll cover here in just 1 second. And what I would recommend to do is to always go in there and create a Facebook page where you're going to put all of the pictures of the various, let's just say, events that you've hosted. That's what I do. So when I speak to somebody, I don't ask for a commitment on the spot. I always say, with your permission, what I'd like to do is send you a Facebook page that lists a lot of the events that we've done for police departments, literally all over the country, that gives you a better sense of what it is we can do. And then, of course, the reason I ask them that is because I need their cell phone number. and I simply go ahead and text it to them, and you're off to the races as well. And so again, this is something that you want to always make sure you post, because even if it's from a year, 2, 3, 5 years ago, it has credibility that you're not going to just simply be here and disappear, that you're going to be here and stay the distance, which is what they want. So no matter if it's, again, sheriff's departments, police departments, it doesn't matter. You're going to be growing your sphere of influence within the law enforcement community. And then, of course, station funds. Every police station in this country has what's called the station fund. And the station fund is simply no more, no less, treasurer usually watches over it. And it's the money that's used to pay for the creature comfort things that the police department or the city or the county doesn't pay for. Whether it be snacks, coffee's a big deal in police stations. All that stuff's not provided by any government entity. The cops have to pitch in a couple of bucks a paycheck and do that. So you can do that. One of the things that we are doing right now for one of our departments in the Valley, it's pretty simple. We are, for every person that donates $50 to their fundraising campaign, gets a trip, those vacation certificates, gets a stay in Las Vegas or Cancun. We keep it very simple. We don't say you can go to Cancun or you can go to Jerusalem or you can go here. It's just either Las Vegas or Cancun for $50. You cannot beat that, and they will love you. And you can come in, and anytime you come in, you have to always bring. So if I go into just to see how it's going, I always make it a point to market myself. And again, in 30 seconds or less, you have to be able to do that, which we'll do here in just 1 second. So maybe it's the station fund, explorers, the DAPs. Fallen officers is a big one. It's supposed to be fallen officers. And when somebody passes away, funds are always, required or appreciated at the very least. And this is your chance to do that, to go in there and raise the funds and be a hero for that organization as well. And it goes on and on and on. One of the things that I will tell you that you're going to have to learn to do is be very creative as it relates to the graphics, the slides, the pictures, whatever it is that you do. And I'll show you an example of that in just 1 second. What I'm going to do is let me just go ahead and stop this share. And I'm going to share another one. There's nothing fancy about what I'm going to share with you, but I'll show it to you. We're holding a private event. And I'll show you how I created this, because I won't create it for you. That's one thing I won't do. But I'll show you where you can have it created or create it yourself. And so this is it right here. We're holding a private event. This is private, literally private. Nobody else is invited to it. But what this simply shows you is we're doing a special online event. And it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a generic one. We sometimes do specific ones, but they require disclaimers as it relates to the police department. This is not sponsored by the LAPD nor the city of Los Angeles. But here we don't mention any specific police department. This is just for police officers that are either retired or nearing retirement. There's a lot of changes going on. If you want to see which way the economy is going to go, or the the whole industry, just follow the money. And I work on financial services. It's amazing how our best annuities that we were selling for the last 10 years, all of a sudden, all the insurance companies are getting rid of them. And when they told me the reason why, I was blown away. And so, I'm telling you, just get ready for it. And so going back to this is what we're going to use to market it. And it's very simple. Now you can change this and just make it a mortgage related webinar, if you would. And so that's what I'm getting at. To what I want to emphasize to you, that you can do this and you should do this. If you're not familiar with it, the way I created this one, let me go ahead and share it one more time with you over here. Let me pull it up so you can kind of see it. Here it is. And so let me show it to you right now. I know you can't see it. Let's see, where the hell did it? Here it is. How did it go? Oh, here it is. There's a website. It's a platform called Canva, C-A-N-V-A, Canva. And it's free. That's what's pretty cool about it. There is a pro that you pay, I don't know, $2 or $3 a month if you want to, but all you need is the free version to create anything that you see here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead. This is where I created it, just like PowerPoint. Very simple, but it looks very cool. And so this is where you start. You can design anything from an Instagram post, a flyer, invitation, post. This is what I use a lot, the cards, 5x7. because it shows really well on phones, tablets, laptops, and so on, or whatever it is you're trying to do. And you can do all this stuff for free. Like I said, I pay a couple bucks a month just because I like the pro features, but you don't need it. But this is what you're going to have to learn to do. And remember, anytime you create something, whether it be an invitation or whatever, run it by Rhett for compliance purposes to make sure that you don't get in trouble. But once he gives you the thumbs up, keep it simple. Less is more. That's the key thing. Here's an example of one that we were going to use, but it got too ugly. It's more like a party invitation or something like that. So we ended up not using that one. And this is the final draft, if you would, that we're going to go with right here on the right-hand side. We also have one that we're doing for real estate. And the reason we're calling it real estate, because it's going to encompass not just the real estate buy or sell, but also the mortgage one as well. And then, of course, you have to build up your database of people that you're going to communicate. So going back to what I was telling you, you lead by giving, and that's how you grow your sphere of influence. You might say, I don't have any cops, or I don't have any emails. Well, get to work. You want me to give you my list? I mean, it's not going to work that way. I have literally thousands of cops of email addresses that I've collected over the last 20 years, if you would. And so it takes time. Like anything that's worthwhile takes time. You're going to have to start somewhere. The question is, are you going to keep going, or are you going to do what most people do, which is simply quit? And I hope you don't. I want you to go ahead and succeed and build your database that when you are low on business, you can just send out an email, a message, if you would, and you have an audience because of the message you are bringing to them. What I want to do, first of all, any questions in regards to this whatsoever before I hand it off to Rhett? Any questions? I'm looking at the chat, or you can just unmute yourself. Oh, let me ask this. I will ask you this. Let me just put the volume, because I can't hear anybody. Rhett, can you talk? I can't. I just want to see if I can hear you.
Yeah, I unmuted.
Okay, cool. Okay, I just want to make sure it was working. So here's the pop quiz that I told you earlier, because it happens quicker than you can imagine. You're dropping off. You always ask what time is the roll call. Roll call. Some sheriff's departments, they call it the briefing, but we call it LAPD, and most police departments call them roll calls. Briefing doesn't matter. So if I ask them, hey, what time is your daytime? Because daytime has the biggest deployment. What time is your daytime day watch roll call? Oh, it's at 6 a.m. Cool. If it's okay, I would like to swing by, drop off some goodies, and just introduce myself. No presentation, no PowerPoint, nothing. Just verbally introduce myself. Now, this is after you offered or gave something. I've never been told no. And then you simply show up that day. Nobody will let you in the police station until your point of contact walks you in. And then usually before they start, they're going to start at 6 a.m. They're going to say something like, okay, well, before we get started, because sometimes they don't want you in the roll call because of the fact that they're going to be discussing, secret police stuff or whatever the hell they're doing. And they don't want you there, which is cool. I want to go home too. So I'm just going to simply say, they're going to say something like, okay, I just want to introduce somebody to you. This is so-and-so. And, pretty cool that this person has offered to raise funds for our Baker Vegas, our station fund, our Explorer program, whatever the hell it is that you're giving, and just wanted to introduce him or herself personally. And then, sir, ma'am, go ahead. And then, of course, it's showtime. Who wants to go first? Literally, what would you do at that point? Anybody?
Well, once you're called up, just give your.
Let me just go with it. Hey, I got to introduce Steven to you guys. Steven's a very generous business owner here locally. He's decided to go ahead and sponsor a fundraising campaign for our station fund. As you guys know, we never have enough coffee in this place. So if we can give him a round of applause. Cool. Okay. Steven, anything you want to say?
Good morning, everyone. My name's Steve Bryan with Radiant Mortgage Bank. We're a direct lender based right here in Southern California. We not only work with current homeowners on helping reduce their rates, but we also specialize in partnering with those of you who want to achieve the dream of home ownership. As I'm sure you've heard, rates are at historic lows. So for you current homeowners, imagine we can reduce your rate, possibly save you $100, $200, $300 a month on your mortgage payment, savings that can go to your children's education, your retirement, home improvement. Anything's better than giving it to the bank, right? And for those of you looking to attain the pride of home ownership and set down roots, become part of building a stronger community, we want to help you. And we have a special program for law enforcement called our CCAP program. It's a closing cost assistance program, because closing costs on a new purchase can run anywhere from 2 to 3% on top of your down payment. However, for law enforcement, if you work with us on the real estate and the mortgage side, we will absolutely help you with your closing costs. Now, we have limited funds available for this program, so please reach out to us soon if you're interested. And also, in addition, we offer VA loans for veterans or active duty military personnel. We especially want to thank you for your service. I don't want to take much more of your time today. If there's anything I've said that's of interest to you, please put your name, contact number, circle your interest on the information card. We'll get back with you. Thanks so much. Be safe out there. Have a good day.
Perfect. Outstanding. From 1 to 10, I'd give it a 20. Great job. Okay, everything that I was thinking you were saying, and that everything I was thinking of, oh, just except for this or at the, and you did it all. You covered it all. Nothing I can add except for one thing, which I'll add here at the end. Great job. Who wants to go next? Because I'm telling you, until you get your level of self-confidence to a certain level, all this training is meaningless. We got to get you to actually do something, which is where most people get stuck. Who wants to go next? I mean, I'm sure you've been practicing. I mean, this is your bread and butter. This is your bread and butter right here. And I'm telling you, just one thing that I would add to Mr. Stephen's speech right now, which is excellent. And I'm always looking to improve upon anything, no matter how good it is. And I'll bring it up in just 1 second. So who wants to go next? Come on, guys. Somebody. I mean, this is a sterile environment. So, if you don't do it here in this sterile environment, I know damn well you're not going to do it out in the real world. And that's where most people's problems are. The one thing that I train on most, I've got so much good stuff. I mean, fundraising. I mean, stuff that I'm not going to brag or anything like that, but I don't want to tell you how much it's made me. But the reason I don't whip out some of that good stuff is because people should get razzle-dazzled in that world of learning, which is the worst thing you can do. Because if you're going to learn anything, learn something practical that you apply immediately. And if you are not speaking up right now, what you're lacking is will. And until your will gets to where it needs to be, nothing else is going to happen. Anybody else, please? Anybody? Come on. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. I mean, the only thing I would add to that, Stephen, is, I mean, you did an excellent job. I mean, here's the kicker. The kicker is that a lot of the times the officers, I mean, people sometimes can't wait to market with or work with cops until they start working with cops. Cops can be probably some of the most paranoid people on earth. And I mean that. And I do mean that in every sense of the way. And so you have to be prepared. The chances of them just calling you or giving you their information on the spot when they have never met you before is almost slim to none. Let's call it that. And slim is on vacation. So what you want to do is you want to appeal to their greed, which we all have. I learned a long time ago. My original mentor that I owe so much to, he always told me, how we got human beings, we have two buttons, and I don't know why, but he always said they were right here. One's right here and one's right here. One of them, and if you learn how to push those buttons, you'll get to where you want to be. And he said the first button is curiosity, and the second button right here is greed. If you can do that, if you can learn that and apply it, and lo and behold, so with what Stephen said, most people would say, hey, this guy's pretty cool. He's helping us out. He's raising funds. What a great guy. But the chances of calling him and, hey, refund my home or just collecting their information, that's where the money's at, just so you know. I don't know. Hold on. Let's see. Anyways, I have stacks and stacks and stacks because he did mention fill out the form type of thing. The chances of filling it out is pretty low, especially your first your first time around. But if you hold up, let's just say a Amazon Fire tablet and say, well, oh, by the way, as a way of saying thank you for all that you do here with us for this great community, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and raffle this tablet off right now. So if you could do me a favor, fill out the form in front of you, and literally I'm gonna have the sergeant here, the lieutenant, pull the winning form. And so go ahead, fill it out real quick. Just your name, cell phone number, and email address, and you're in the raffle because you're going to hold them to it. And it's amazing when you do something like that, how the number of forms you collect will go from maybe one, if you're lucky, to about 90% of those in the room will do that. And then, of course, you do your little raffle. Congratulations. Who is Joe Blow? Oh, congratulations. Yeah, whatever. Take a picture with the winner. Always take a picture with the winner. And the will that you're building with them in that very short amount of time skyrockets. And so I take all of my forms with me. I go back to my computer when I get home and I input every single one of them into my police database that I have thousands of people. that when I need business, I just shoot out an email, rates have dropped yet again, and blah, 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 blah. Or you can isolate, if you would, the email list for just that particular department. And every time you do that, send a picture of you with that cop that won the raffle so they know who you are. They'll remember you, boom, just like that. And you're off to the races. And for all of you that didn't speak up, come on, guys, you're going to have to work on yourself. You will never hit your true potential. I'll tell you that right now. I don't care how good of a job you think you're doing, how much money you're making. You're not going to be close to your true potential until you learn to do what needs to be done as well. So anyways, Rhett, so I'm handing it over to you, sir.
Thanks, Javier. Good morning, everybody. Everybody can hear me? Yeah, there we go. Okay. So a couple things. Great job, Stephen. I think that obviously you spent some time on that. For those of you who, or for the rest of you, I should say, obviously you're not as prepared as Stephen is. Now, I guarantee you, just as smooth as that was, Stephen was reading it, but he's done it so many times, and he's rehearsed it and he's practiced it. And at some point in time, I don't know that he's practiced it at this point enough to where he could do it without even thinking about it, where it's just automatic. It's by rote. It's like going out there and the golfers who they just practice the same shot over and over and over, so they don't have to think about it when they got 300 or 400 or 500 people on the course watching them and shushing each other. They don't have to think about all the other things that are going on. They can focus on that. And once it gets to the point, he says he's not reading, just practice a lot. There you go. So, but in the beginning, and you probably heard me talk about this in the past. I remember when back in 1982, I was just getting into the sales business, and I was scared to death to pick up the phone, literally to the point of tears. I remember sitting in my kitchen one day crying because I could not pick up the phone, and I had committed myself. I had told all my family back in Washington that I had joined this insurance company and I was going to be rich. And all of a sudden it's like I had gotten to the point where I literally couldn't pick up the phone. I was just totally frozen. And wasn't long after that and went and bought the book, How to Master the Art of Selling. And I started learning and reading and for the first long time, I practiced. I wrote down the script. I practiced and practiced. I recorded it. Then I edited it, and I went back and forth. And all of a sudden, I after making a few phone calls, I remember the first night I made phone calls. My first 3 or 4 calls were no answers, and I was relieved. But by the end of the night, I had made 4 or 5 appointments, and the rest, as they say, is history. So it's just a matter of writing things down. And I will tell you that there was when Stephen started putting that together, I guarantee you there was a plan, because the whole speech there that he did was designed to show benefit. Now, I don't know if you were paying attention, but he didn't talk about how many years experience he had. He didn't talk about all the other minutia that a lot of people want to either brag about or try and lead with, because nobody really cares. At the end of the day, what's in it for them? So he talked about all the benefits. He talked about the CCAP program. He talked about the fact that we do VA loans. He talked about the fact that we can lower your interest rate. He talked about the fact that we can help you buy your home. And then he ends with the call to action saying, this is a limited time offer. We have limited funds available. So, get with me right away. So there's your call to action. So all of these things, when you're talking to people, think about what is in it for them. What do if you were listening to yourself, you would say, okay, where's the benefit? Whatever you're saying to me, where's the benefit to me? Because if all you're talking about is you, and your experience or whatever. I mean, yeah, I get it that you're going to throw that in every once in a while. Quite frankly, I throw it in typically somewhere buried in the minutes. I've been doing this since 1989. I've never seen rates that low. Now, I've told them how long I've been in the business. I've told them how old I am, if you will. Okay. But I don't care about it. What I'm talking about there and what I focus on is I've never seen rates this low. So focus when you're writing your script, because obviously if you're trying to do this from scratch every single time, you're going to fail. Write it down and then just go over and record yourself. Turn on your recording on your iPhone or whatever it is and record yourself doing it and listen back, because it will sound completely different to you verbally than it is in your head when you're reading it. And it's important that you hear that and you hear how you sound, so that, because oftentimes it's the inflection points, it's what you decide to emphasize that will trigger a response. And every time you're talking to somebody, whether you're being in front of a group, whether you're being on the phone. I know Stephen is on the phone all day long with lots and lots of people right now, because he's handling lead calls, and it's made a huge difference. I can tell, how much more confident he sounds, and there's no hesitation in his voice at all, and he's got that down. Like I said, I mean, Stephen, I'm even more impressed you're telling me you weren't reading it. So, but you can all get to this point, but it takes practice, and it can't be something you're thinking about making up in the beginning. In the beginning, it has to be scripted. Your responses need to be scripted, because if it's not, you're flying by the seat of your pants, and you're never going to get to that next level that you really need to be at to be successful. So I'll leave that at that. I know that over the past couple of months, Javier's had a couple different meetings and talking about setting goals, and it's a good time to plan for for the next year. It's funny, this last week, we've started sending out W-2s and 1099s for the loan officers, and I've had several different responses, but they range from "that's all" to "oh, my God, I had no idea I made that much money." Now, to me, this is another good time to reflect, because we paid out over $2.5 million this year in commissions. And I mean, if you think about that, that's a huge amount of money for a fairly small group of people for our branch. And when you get your 1099s and your W-2s this year, it's a good time to reflect, to look at that and say, okay, did I make all the money that I want to make? Did I make all the money that I think I should have made? Could I, if I applied myself a little bit more, can I make more money this year? Because it's, for some of you, I'm sure, it's kind of it will be kind of a wake-up call when you open up those W-2s or those 1099s or whatever the case may be. You open that up and it's like, I should be making more money. I don't think anybody ever thinks I've made too much money. They may be thinking I'm making enough, I'm paying too much money in income tax, but I don't think they ever look at and say, I wish I wouldn't have made this much money. I do pretty well, and I've never thought that, and I know Javier doesn't think that. Anthony and Luceo and a few of you guys that are making some really good money, I don't think you ever look at it and say, oh, I made too much money this year. So it's I think that take this time and really use it to motivate yourself to go out there and do what you got to do. Apply the things that Javier is teaching you every Saturday, and become a powerhouse in this business. I mean, You don't have to do a ton of loans to make a lot of money. We got, I don't know, 40 loan officers right now. We have active every month, probably only 8 to 10 that are doing loans literally every single month. We have a lot of people that do a loan every, 2 or 3 months. Then we have some people that do multiple loans. Some of us are doing more than 6, 7, 8, 9 loans a month. So it just depends on how much you want to apply yourself and how much you want to, how much at the end of the day you want to make, because it has to start up here. It has to start in your head. You have to start giving yourself goals, and those goals have to, we talked about this before. You have to visualize these things. You need to start thinking about things that you want. And remember, we think in pictures. So get pictures, create the vision board we talked about a few weeks ago, and start keeping that front and center. Don't worry so much yet about what's all the steps. We can get you there through the marketing and through activity and different things like that. But it's got to start somewhere, and I think this is a great time to do that. It would have been a better time to do it a month ago or 2 months ago, but it's never too late to get started. Everything has a starting point, so just get out there and start doing that. Just kind of a little update. Rates have ticked up a little bit in the last 30 days. I did a lookup this morning before the meeting. I looked at a loan we registered exactly 30 days ago and compared it to what it would be today. The rate today is about 1/4 of a point higher. Translates to about 1/2 point to 5/8 of a point in pricing. It's still, it went from, the loan went from 2.375 to 2.625. And if you think about it, anything under 3%, in my opinion, is just a damn good rate. So even though they've ticked up a little bit, we have not seen any kind of a slowdown. We are actually looking, that in December was our best month ever. January was a little bit lower than that, about 60%, so quite a bit lower than that. But we're looking for February to be another record breaking. We actually think we can do more fundings in February than we did in December. So we have not slowed down even with the tick up in interest rates. Sometimes it's not a bad thing because people start hearing that rates have ticked up a little bit and they start worrying about the fact that they may have missed the boat. I don't think they've missed the boat at all. I think it's just a reaction to all the stuff that's going on politically right now and the change of administration. In regards to what's going on in the market itself, the Fed came out this week and basically left all the policies virtually unchanged, indicating that they don't even have anything long-term that they plan on changing right now. And that indicated to the market that short-term mortgage rates will probably be here for not the next year, but for years to come. So one of the things that they are doing that helps interest rates is they're buying $120 billion a month worth of bonds. They are going to continue doing that for the foreseeable future. They know that the last time they stopped doing that too soon, and they don't want to do that. They know, again, everybody knows that the real estate market is what drives the economy. And for those of us in the business, at least, we understand that financing is the tail that wags that dog. So the fact that we are in financing, and a lot of you, most of you, are also in real estate. We are in the in my opinion, the best industry in the world right now to take advantage of everything that's going on, not in a bad way, but to help people and to assist them get through this crisis. And in a lot of cases, to help them buy their first home and achieve the American dream that Stephen was talking about earlier. So that's really all I have. I don't have anything else today. I just want to encourage you to get out there, take advantage, spend some time this week, write your script. Javier will help you with it. I will help you with it. But write your script and start working on getting better at telling the story. And the story is your commercial. Get better at that, because you need to be in the game, and to be in the game, you have to talk to people. And when you're talking to people, you need to understand. Just remember, it's always, what's the benefit to them? Don't talk about yourself. Talk about how you can help them, and how the market, how they're in a great position to take advantage of the market. Javier? Can't hear you, Javier. You're muted.
Perfect. I think that works a little better when you unmute yourself. But anyways, I just want to say thank you to everybody for all that you do. Thank you for 2020. And, ironically, in 2008, when the market melted down, my entire business and everything that was part of it in all industries melted and went away. This COVID pandemic, not only have we not seen that, but it's actually thrived and grown by multiples in not just the real estate mortgages, but also in the financial services and so on. So I thank everybody for that. But I also want to remind you, and be very honest, you'll never hear anything but honesty from me, that I remind you that your primary responsibility as a mortgage loan originator is not to learn about mortgages, not to learn how to process, or how to underwrite or do it. Your number one responsibility is generating leads. That's it. I can tell right now, I call reps a lot once I have a lead, as to how to sometimes close it or how to submit it or whatever. We get paid. You get paid not for having a NMLS license. On the contrary, that damn thing is expensive if you're not making money. And so therefore, it's to generate leads. And the only way you're going to generate leads is by talking. You have to talk, whether it be physically talking to a group of teachers, cops, cooks, waiters, or virtually, by you just simply talking to a group of, through a webinar type of thing, which we're going to do, but we're not going to open that up. What we're starting differently this year is we're actually growing, if you would. We're going to grow our brand new, what's called Summit. And part of that is how to conduct online homeownership summits. And I bought a full package. It was pretty pricey, and I'm going to give it away on how to do just that. So just like you saw me holding the one for law enforcement, for that private law enforcement agency that you saw we're doing homeownership ones. So if you're a realtor, you need to learn how to do that. We're doing some for mortgage people that already have a mortgage, how to reduce their rates, if you would. FAQs, things to keep in mind, hacks on how to lower your mortgage payment, a bunch of different stuff, all online. But we're not going to do that on a Saturday. We're going to invite people, and we're only probably going to invite realistically about five people at the very most, no more than 6, because that's for people that are actually doing something with what they are learning, not just for those that are absorbing. Nothing frustrates me more than to see somebody, quote, learning. I can tell you right now, I might have no clue on how to do a reverse mortgage, but if you find one, I guarantee you somebody here at Radiant will walk you through all the way to closing, for God's sakes. So don't spend as much time. And that's just a distraction that we kind of conduct on purpose on ourselves, and we fool ourselves. So don't do that. Practice, practice, practice. And there's not one thing that you need to practice that we haven't given you. Scripts for police, scripts for recruiting realtors, everything. We've given you everything. Just a matter of finding the will to do it. Questions, comments, concerns before we wrap it up? Anyone? You can unmute yourself, please. Everyone's muted. All right. Well, if no one has nothing to say, I just want to say thank you once again for all that you do. Congratulations on a great 2020. Let's make 2021 at least double the amount of not just commissions, but closings and how many people you help become homeowners as well. And it all starts and it all ends with marketing. Learn to market yourself and everything will fall into place. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.